and welcome to North Park's Online Writing Center. I'm Darby Agavino, a writing advisor at North Park. In this video, I will be breaking down APA style. You may be watching this individually on professor assignment or as a class. In addition to this video, you can also use the Writing Center's APA handouts, which should be linked near this video. Otherwise, you can also find them on our website under Workshops and Handouts. The first thing I want to explain about APA style is what makes it up and why you would use it. So you would usually use APA format in your science classes or your social science classes. So that would be chemistry, biology, or psychology, or social psychology, yes, but also sociology, which is what I was going to say. And when you're writing in APA style, you really want to write in three ways. So you want to be clear. You want to have specific descriptions and explanations, but you also want to be concise. So you want to condense that information where you can. And you also want to be plain. You want to use simple descriptive adjectives and avoid the use of figurative language. Really, the true purpose of writing in APA style is to communicate with your reader clearly and efficiently. And you also want to avoid the use of pronouns like me, he, she, I, and replace them with more general things like the researchers or the authors. Another thing that APA really is a way of organizing your content. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but it's a way of helping you organize your content so that it will be most useful for the reader. And finally, APA is a way of citing your references. They have specific rules about in-text citations and bibliographies, which we'll get more into later. So next, let's talk a little bit about organization of content. Here I'm going to focus on how you would organize a research article, but you could also write a book in APA format or just kind of a more regular essay. But in a research article, you would have a title page, an abstract, introduction, method, and then results and discussion sections. And each of these sections is very specific about what belongs in it so that your reader could find what they were looking for in your essay. I really like to point to the abstract, which is just like a description. You usually have like one sentence from each section in it so that a reader could come and see if your research is relevant to what they're trying to find out and decide whether they want to read the whole paper or not. Another way you might organize the content of your writing is through the use of headings. APA has specific rules about the seriation of headings. And the main purpose of that is just to help your reader better navigate your writing. So one example might be the methods section of your article, let's say. And so you would start with the methods at the top. That would be centered, boldface with title case, which just means that you capitalize the first letter of those important words, right? And then maybe you have a section about your participants. So you'll go flush left, boldface, also with title case. And then maybe you need another section under that that's gender or ethnicity. And so you have gender, and you'll have that also flush left, boldface, but italicized. And that will also have title case. And you can kind of see in this chart how that would continue down. And like I said, that's just to help your reader navigate your writing a little bit easier. And then APA also has specific rules about formatting. I'm not going to discuss them specifically, but here they are if you want to look at them. Now I really want to talk about creating a bibliography. So this is where you put all your citations in at the end of your paper. And you're going to title that page References and arrange your citations alphabetically by the author's last name. And here in this chart, I just have some examples of very specific templates. So for a book, a scholarly article, and a website, which are some really common sources. And so you can use this template, right? You find that important information from your source and you input it into this template. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some examples here. So this is my book from my social psychology class, actually. And so I took out all that important information and put it right here. And then I used it and put it into the template over here. So we're going to look at this. So this is the author's last name, and then I have their initials. So when you have both the first name and the middle name, the first name goes first. So I have that first initial and then the middle initial, and then I have the ampersand, right? That's for that efficiency. And then I have the next author here. Then I have the year in parentheses, period, and then the title, which is in non-title case, right? So the first word is capitalized, but not the next ones. And if there was a colon in this title, I would actually capitalize the first word after the colon. And then I also have the addition here in parentheses next to the title. And then I have the publication city, publication place, and the publisher. And you can see here how that would go onto my references page. So you can see the references, the title, the page number in the upper right hand corner. And then you can see this really important thing, the the hanging indent, that's the word I'm looking for. And what you do to create the hanging indent is you go to this second line, you hit enter and then tab. And what that does is it just allows this second line to be a little bit more indented than that first line. And that just helps with readability. And then I just want to go through a couple more examples of different types of sources. So here I have a journal article. So I have my authors, and in APA 7, you will cite up to 20 authors. So you'll write out the names and initials of 20 authors. After that, you can just write et al. At the end, and I'll discuss that a little more later. But 20 authors is a lot. You shouldn't have many papers that you're citing that have more than that. And then I have the years, you can see here, and then the title of the article. Which is in that casing, the non-title casing I was talking about before. This should be capitalized, right, because it's after that colon. And an important thing to note about this is that this isn't italicized because it's the name of the article, right? We italicize the name of the book, and here we italicize the journal title. So here's the journal title, then I have the volume, the issue, and then the page numbers in that journal. And then I also have what's known as the DOI, which is the Digital Object Identifier. It's just something you can find usually on the journal article, especially if you're finding it in a database. You can also use the URL here, but you want that to be hyperlinked so that I could click on this and it would take me directly to that article. And then here I also have, let's look at this one, a website. So I couldn't find an author for this, right? So I just used the title. And I use that when I was alphabetizing, I used the title. Then I have the year, and then I have where it's from. So, right, this is the overall website, right? This is the article name. This is the overall website, right? Maybe CDC or WHO would be examples of like other ones that would fit there. And then I have the URL, and this should also be hyperlinked. And now I want to talk a little bit about in-text citations, right? So that's where, you paraphrase something and then you have to cite it right there. And then if you want to see the full citation, right, you would go to the references. But here, this just shows what in your paper is from a specific source. So usually for that, we just do the author last name and then comma, year, and then parentheses and put a period. Unless you are taking that from a specific portion of the book, but you just cite, so let's say I'm using my social psychology book, and I cite the overall book in my references, but I took this specific information from a specific page or from a specific chapter. And so then I would cite the page number. So here I just do P number, and then here if I have multiple pages, right, PP, 101 to 107 or whatever. And here I'll show you a couple examples. So here's that social psych book again. Right, so I would have my paraphrased information, then I would have, right, the last names of the authors, comma, year. You can also, right, and if I had specific page numbers, I would do comma, PP, right, 105 to 107. And then you can also integrate your in-text citation into your essay, right? So maybe I wanted to make it a little bit more smoother, maybe mix it up a little bit. I would say, according to Branscombe and Barron, right, 2017, you want to add the year immediately after the authors, and then I would have that information. And if I had page numbers, I would put them in the parentheses here with that. Yeah, so that's all I have for you. If you have any other questions or need any more specific help, you are free to come to our drop-in hours. They're right here. And also use Purdue OWL. I used it to help me make this video. It's a really great resource. They talk about everything that I talked about here and much, much more. So if you have a specific issue, you want to cite a video, or you're having other problems, usually they have an answer on Purdue OWL. You can also use the drop-in hours to get an advisor to help you use that resource. So please do that. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.